Hey, yeah, I just woke up for a moment here in the rabbit hole. And it occurred to me that sometimes God wants you to speak on things and you got to just wake up and speak on them, I guess. And just thinking about life and challenges that come to you when He has made a change, a substantial change in your direction. He corroborates your perspective. God's Spirit corroborates within you where He sees that you are in your progress. And I talk about the rabbit hole because it's obvious that since I first started saying it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun more than 30 years ago, based on the fact that I thought I knew even at that time when I was on Pal Talk. By the way, on Pal Talk, uh, although the program was called Rose of Sharon Chapel of Praise, it was and still is, after almost 30 years, uh, the online, let me let you get this straight now, it was the online church of Mother Waddle's Perpetual Mission. Rose of Sharon Chapel of Praise was the online Mother Waddle's Perpetual Mission. As a result of those things being taken away, and still to this day, the car donation program, even to the 313 Waddles and all the things you see on the signs saying that they are supporting the church, in reality, they took away the rights. Not only took away the rights, not only took away the building, they took away the building where we held service. They took away the funding where I could never reestablish a building presence. That was in 2001 when I discovered Pal Talk, or Pal Talk discovered me in 2004, before Facebook really got really kicking. In fact, I was teased, especially my daughters. They would come when I was living downtown, and I was on Pal Talk, and Pal Talk was texting, and they hadn't even developed the live portion at that time in 2004, and it was texting. And they would, when they come visit me, they would do their little fingers and stuff. Now I look at Facebook. And it took me a few years. It took me quite a few years before I even joined Facebook. Yeah. So you see, it comes full circle when God is in the plan, and obviously He wanted me to use. Well, it goes more than that. When I do realize that God had truly wanted to use me, I set some conditions. He said, my mother's always taught over the years that you got to be specific with God. Because that's what He's here for, to answer your prayers. You see, and you got to be specific with Him. I remember, y'all forgive me, you can see I ain't got my grill in. What time is it anyway? It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it is. But there's a woman that came to me, while in the midst of my mother's ministry one time. She came upstairs. I was living over the church at the time, and she came upstairs and she said, "Miss Theta," that's what they used to call me. She came upstairs to borrow some money or to get a cigarette because I was smoking cigarettes at that time. And I forgot which one it was, whether it was cigarettes or money. But anyway, she said, "Miss Theta, I want you to pray for me. I want you to pray God take away," she came up for a cigarette. "Take away my money so I won't be going down here because I'm going right down here and buy me some cigarettes." I said, "Oh, wait a minute, baby. No. You don't ask God to take away your money. You ask him to take away your desire for the cigarettes." I said, "Oh, you're going to continue to come up here and begging me." So I've always laughed about that, you see. So you be so specific with God, and as I was considering, and not just considering from a vanity or any other point other than the personality that I knew is and was then and is even still now me. You want to use me? Oh. So I said, "Well, Lord, I don't believe you want me to talk about the eagle stirring the nest necessarily. I don't think the folk need to hear too much more of that. The dry bones and such." I said, "You know what my attitude is. Don't bring me no butter because I ain't no biscuit. And I'm not here for nobody to butter me up. I ain't no flag. I ain't looking for nobody to salute me," so on and so forth. And I laid these parameters out to God. And I said, "God, if you allow me," and I've talked about it all through the 25 or more years and still on Pal Talk today, talked about it, being careful with your ego. It's all right, and it's perfectly human, and it's perfectly all right even from God to have a certain amount of ego, you see. But when it gets out of control, is when you run into trouble. So I set all these parameters that up for myself that I'd have to follow also. And I would tell them for years on Pal Talk, I ain't no guru. I'm not trying to be your guru. But if you want to be lifted up, I'm your girl. If you want to be inspired that you too can do all things through God who strengthens you, I'm your girl. You see. And they would come in the beginning, when I was on Pal Talk, they would come in for years and years, and I still communicate with folk. I've got a best friend I've been still talking to in Scotland. Talk to her at least twice a year. I got a lady that I talk to in Ireland, in Scotland rather. And she taught me a beautiful little saying, "Bless your wee cotton socks." I've got calendars and trinkets from people all different parts of the world. I was on Pal Talk 15 straight years, 7 days a week. You see. And it was way back then that God established what I'm talking about, the rabbit hole right now. He established way back then, and I hadn't even investigated the saying. I just fell in love with the saying that it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And it was only, I'm telling you, it was only just less than just a few days ago, after I had an altercation, a dispute, I should say, with my doctor, that I started thinking about and trying to put all these things together and thinking about that I realized that God was even trying to show me something through through that experience of just that saying alone, gave me a message, gave me a vision, gave me a thought pattern. Live from the rabbit hole. And when I say the rabbit hole, and when I say down here, and I'm not suggesting hell, I'm suggesting from a viewpoint of God, if you will, Him being the proprietor of the rabbit hole. Only thing outside, only one thing that is outside the rabbit hole, and that's heaven, from where He looks down on and allows Jesus' Spirit through Jesus Christ to interact with us as we travel through. And you say, well, why you say the rabbit? Why do you say the rabbit? It's the same thing as saying the sheep. Why not? Same thing, same analogy. If you had 100 rabbits, if you are in control and the shepherd or the guarder of the flock of 100 rabbits or a bunch of whatever, and 99 come back and one is out there lost, do you go get that rabbit that's out there lost? The scriptures tell us that you don't shame them and blame them. You go out in the world in the name of Jesus and claim them. So like I say, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to see exactly what time it is right now. It's in the morning. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I guess. It says you don't shame them and blame them. You ask God as He refreshes your coat and gives you the strength to step forward. When you see injustice, when you see someone that God shows you needs your assistance, your help, you make yourself available. You don't just say, use me, Lord, or sing the song, use me, Lord, in thy service, draw me near every day. You avail yourself when somebody stretches their hand out as you go along your way. Somebody stretches their hand out. Do you say, let them get it like I got it? Or do you reciprocate or whatever? So I woke up with that this morning. I don't want you to be confused when I say rabbit hole. It is in the vernacular. The rabbit hole. The rabbit hole. The state of your consciousness. The state of your human nature, Galatians talk about. The state of your spiritual nature. And from the perspective of God on high, looking down on us. Brown rabbit, gray rabbit, bro rabbit, mud rabbit, low down dirty rabbit. He's there with all of us, saying to us, come to me all ye that are burdened, heavy laden. He said, take my yoke upon you. My burdens are light. And although we will not get outside the rabbit hole, as you listen to Him, to all the stuff that come at you as you travel through, if you make up your mind with grit and determination to hold on, if you make up in your mind with absolute grit and determination in secret. Don't have to brag, don't have to tell nobody you're fasting. Jesus said you don't even have to walk around in sackcloth and ashes. He will put an aura around you. I've gone to a couple of times, even a couple of years ago, I went to the market with my daughter in Georgia, and several times people stopped me and said, one lady said, I don't know who you are, but you sure got a beautiful spirit around you, miss. Some would stop me because I would be wearing my more than 50-year-old coat of many colors that I crocheted from Granny Squares over 50 years ago. They would stop me. And as I used to tell them and I still tell them on Pal Talk, hey, don't get it twisted. You still can't touch the hem of my garment and be made whole. But you will know when you are witnessing one who has dedicated, or anyone who has dedicated their life to be that light on the hill in somebody's darkness, that it is an honor and a pleasure to testify. Huh? And I can once again say, hey, baby, it ain't no joke. And it's a whole lot of fun. At 3 o'clock in the morning and at 81. It's a whole lot of fun when the rabbit got the gun. And like I say, I love you, Forrest Gump. But like I say, hey, that's all I got to say on that. I'm going to try to go on back to sleep and give me a few more winks. But I'm telling you, I'm still strutting around this rabbit hole. But I'm packing.